Right now, we want to get to some breaking news on the disappearance of Omaha mother Cari Allen. She's been missing since before Thanksgiving.
That investigation led detectives to a body in Topeka, Kansas, the same town where an ex-boyfriend lives. Brian Mastery is live in the newsroom with the latest. Have they positively identified that body yet, Brian?
John, no, they have not identified the body. 6 News has learned that an autopsy will be performed on that body in Topeka, Kansas tomorrow. That should shed light on a number of things, in addition to a positive identification, also a cause of death. For many, a positive ID here, though, seems to be a foregone conclusion. After all, a lead developed by the Douglas County Sheriff's Office into the disappearance of 43-year-old Cari Allen led detectives to the spot here in Topeka, Kansas, 150 miles from Omaha. It's also the town where the man accused of kidnapping her, Aldrich Scott, lives. This is video from yesterday of investigators from the Topeka Police Department and Shawnee County Sheriff following up on the information from Nebraska. It's a farm about 10 minutes from Aldrich Scott's home. I'm told investigators with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office will be present during the autopsy. Now, it's been nearly 5 weeks since Cari Allen disappeared the Saturday before Thanksgiving. The first sign of worry when she stopped texting her son. She was last seen near her home at 168th and Blondo, and there have been countless searches in the metro and in Kansas. Friends say she'd broken off the relationship with 47-year-old Aldrich Scott 2 weeks prior. Deputies found bullet holes in her home that had been patched up but not painted. Aldrich Scott, according to detectives, told them that he was in Topeka, Kansas, where he lived, but cell phone data allegedly put him in northwest Omaha near the bar where Cari Allen had stopped by that Saturday night. Her cell phone, her laptop are still missing. Aldrich Scott, who is retired military, is currently in the Douglas County Jail on a $10 million bond. Remember, investigators found him in the Central American country of Belize, and he was brought back to Omaha last week to face kidnapping charges. Again, John, Lauren, an autopsy is scheduled in Kansas tomorrow on that body found, and we soon thereafter should have a positive ID. On your side in the newsroom, Brian Mastery, 6 News.